It's strange how silence can feel heavy, like air pressed against your chest, waiting for you to break it. For 46 days, he hasn't heard her voice. 46 mornings without her laughter leaking through the walls. And yet, somehow, she's still here. Not in the room, not in the photos he deleted, but in the corners of his mind where time keeps replaying the same goodbye. He wakes before dawn, breath sharp, eyes wide. Another panic attack, the fourth one this week. They come like clockwork now, always between 3 and 4 in the morning, always in the same dream. In that dream, she's walking away again, same gray coat, same trembling hand on the door, same words left unsaid, and every time he wakes right before she turns around. At first, he thinks it's an alarm. Then he sees it. Her name. Bright, impossible, familiar. A message. No words. Just the name. He stares. Seconds stretch. His heart pounds against his ribs. The timestamp says 3:47 a.m. Sent just now. But it can't be. Her number was deleted, blocked, gone. He checks again. Same thing. One message. No text, no explanation. He tells himself it's a mistake. An old message caught in the system, some echo of data that didn't know how to die. But something about it doesn't feel like an error. It feels deliberate. It feels recent. The apartment around him looks like a crime scene of exhaustion. Half-drunk coffee, plates crusted with meals he doesn't remember eating, a knee brace by the couch, the result of a stupid gym accident that forced him into this solitude. The doctor told him to rest. No heavy lifting, no running, no distractions. But rest doesn't heal everything. It just traps the noise where you can hear it better. When you can't move, the ghosts get louder, and she's been screaming in the silence ever since. He drags himself off the couch, limps toward the window. The city below is asleep. The kind of sleep that feels earned. People with routines, plans, love. He used to have that. He used to have her. He leans on the windowsill, staring into the dark. Then he sees it, a shape, barely visible through the mist. Headlights flicker, then vanish. The hum of an idling engine rises beneath the sound of rain. It's a small, gray car, same dent in the back fender, same uneven glow in the left brake light. He knows that car. He knows it because he watched it disappear one night, carrying everything he thought he'd ever need. He blinks hard, like the mind's playing tricks again. But when his eyes adjust, the license plate catches the light. It's hers. It's a long silence, his breathing audible. He hasn't seen that car since the night she ended it, since the night she left him on the sidewalk, soaked in rain, holding on to words that didn't matter anymore. The odds of it being hers are 1 in a million, but sometimes the universe doesn't care about odds. He waits, watches. The car doesn't move. The engine keeps running. The headlights stay off. He checks his phone again. The message still blank. Just her name, pulsing softly in the dark. Then another vibration, a second notification. Same number, same emptiness, like a voice trying to speak but caught between worlds. He wants to go outside. He wants to know who's in that car, but something holds him back, a weight in his chest. The the same weight he felt the night she said goodbye. It's not fear, it's recognition. He realizes that whatever's waiting down there, it knows him. It knows he's watching. A car door creaks faintly. He leans closer. The door opens halfway, then closes. The engine hums louder. The streetlight above flickers twice, like the city itself is hesitating. Then everything falls still again. There are moments in life that feel rehearsed, déjà vu dressed as destiny. And when they come, you can feel time holding its breath. He doesn't know it yet, but this is one of those moments. Because in exactly 24 hours, he'll learn that the past doesn't stay buried. It waits, patient, familiar, and closer than you think. Whatever came back tonight, memory, guilt, or something far worse, it isn't done with him yet. The human mind has a cruel habit. It keeps the warmest memories closest to the coldest nights. As he stares into the dark, the sound of that engine pulls him backward, through time, through laughter that doesn't belong to this silence. The first time he met her was 2 years ago, in a coffee shop that smelled like burnt espresso and second chances. She was sitting by the window, reading a book upside down, something she did when she wanted to be left alone. But he asked anyway, and she looked up, annoyed, until he smiled, that hesitant, honest kind of smile that made people trust him before they should. They talked until the lights dimmed and the staff swept the floor around them. It wasn't fireworks. It was quieter than that. A kind of gravity that pulled two lonely people towards something they didn't yet understand. In the months that followed, they built a rhythm, shared breakfasts, late walks, 1,000 small promises made without speaking them aloud. He'd tell her about his ideas, the app he was designing, the company he wanted to build. She'd roll her eyes, call him a dreamer, but her voice always softened at the end. Back then, she believed in him, or maybe she believed in who he wanted to be. But love is patient only until it starts to cost something. For her, the cost came slowly. Long nights alone while he coded through dawn, the bills piling up, the rent always late. He told her it would all make sense soon. She told him that soon was becoming another word for never. The argument that ended everything didn't start loud. It began with a missed dinner, then another, then a silence that filled the room thicker than any noise could. She said she was tired, not of him, but of waiting for a version of him that existed only in his head. He said she didn't understand. Maybe she did. He remembers her standing by the doorway, coat half on, eyes wet, but not broken yet. He promised he was close. One more project, one more pitch, one more sleepless night away from turning everything around. But dreams are heavy things, and she was tired of carrying his. The night she left, the city drowned in stormwater. He followed her down the stairs, barefoot, shouting over the rain. She didn't shout back. She just kept walking toward that small gray car with the cracked taillight. She paused once, hand on the door, as if a single word could stop her. But he had no words left, only apologies that came too late. When the car disappeared into the dark, he stood there for hours. The streetlight above flickered 3 times, then went out completely. He's never been able to stand thunderstorms since. Now, in the stillness of his apartment, those memories play like an old reel, grainy, uneven, refusing to fade. His leg aches less, the swelling gone down, and for the first time in days, he sits by the window with his laptop open. Work helps, focus helps, anything helps. He opens his phone, scrolls through old photos he thought he'd deleted months ago. Their faces frozen in time, smiling at something that no longer exists. The light from the screen cuts across his face. The glow almost looks like hope. He starts deleting them, one by one. Swipe left, confirm, gone. A digital exorcism, a quiet attempt at control. But halfway through, the screen freezes. A glitch. The image blurs, flickers, then reappears. Except it's different. It's a photo he doesn't remember taking. Her face, turned halfway toward the camera, eyes wide, caught mid-motion. Behind her, a figure, blurred, watching, too close. At first, he assumes it's a trick of the light, a reflection. But the longer he looks, the clearer the outline becomes. A man, standing just behind her shoulder, his features distorted by the focus. And in that distortion, something familiar. A shape, a gesture, the shadow of someone he might know. He zooms in. The pixels fracture. The image shakes. The file name changes on its own, letters rearranging like static across the screen. He whispers her name, as if saying it out loud will steady his hands. It doesn't, because right before the image corrupts, before it vanishes completely, he sees a reflection, not in her eyes, but in the window behind her. A man, older, smiling, and in that smile, recognition. There are stories inside every photograph, the ones we take and the ones that take us. Tonight, his story is changing, because in that frozen moment, hidden behind pixels and shadows, he isn't sure whether he's looking at a memory or at something that's been watching him all along. Some mornings arrive like apologies, gentle, unannounced, pretending that the night before didn't happen. He wakes to one of those mornings, a stillness that almost feels kind. The phone on his nightstand shows no new messages. The photo from last night, the one with the reflection, is gone, deleted as if it never existed. He thinks about moving on. He tells himself it's time. He even believes it for a few minutes. He checks his messages again. Nothing. Until the phone vibrates once. A new text. Unknown number. 4 words. You should have stayed gone. He reads it twice, then again. There's no context, no signature, no typo, just that single sentence. A warning or a threat. He can't tell the difference anymore. He tries to trace the number. It routes through an encrypted server. He's a developer, a coder. He understands how hard it is to hide a signal like that. Whoever sent it didn't just mean to scare him. They meant to stay invisible. He sets the phone down and opens his laptop. Work should help. Distraction always does. 3 weeks ago, he started a new job, a tech consultancy, with clients that never reveal their full names. The offer came out of nowhere, double his old salary. private office, signing bonus wired within minutes. It all felt like luck finally choosing a side. But luck rarely comes without a ledger. This morning, his inbox is filled with new contracts, non-disclosures, non-competes, a dozen digital walls closing in. He scrolls through them absently until one email catches his eye. The sender field is blank. The subject line reads, "She's here." He clicks it open. There's no message, just a single attachment. A photo taken less than an hour ago. It's her, same coat, same hair, walking out of a downtown cafe. In the reflection of the cafe window, a logo, the same company that hired him. The timestamp matches the moment he woke up. He doesn't know whether to feel relief or dread. She's alive. She's close. But why now? And why through someone else's eyes? At work that afternoon, he's distracted. Code blurs into static. His coworker, Malik, notices. A quiet man, sharp enough to read a person without asking questions. Malik leans over his desk and whispers, "You weren't the first person offered that position." He looks up, confused. Malik doesn't elaborate, just goes back to typing, eyes never meeting his again. That sentence repeats in his head for hours. The first person offered the job. Who were they? And what happened to them? He checks the company's online directory. No names before his. No records at all. By dusk, the city outside glows red with the reflection of neon and exhaustion. He closes his laptop, deciding to walk home. Fresh air might help. But halfway through the alley behind the office, his phone rings. A number he hasn't seen in months. Her number. He doesn't answer. It goes to voicemail. He listens. There's static first, faint breathing underneath. Then, her voice. Quiet, urgent, trembling. "Eli," she whispers. His name. Just that. Then the sound of footsteps, a door slamming, a sharp inhale, and the line cuts dead. He plays it again. The same sequence. The same fear in her voice. He tries calling back, but the number routes to nowhere. Disconnected. For a long minute, he stands there in the alley, phone in hand, the city moving around him like nothing's changed. But something has. Something big. He thinks about the job, the anonymous texts, the company that found him out of nowhere. And now, her voice, terrified. Everything's starting to connect, but he doesn't know how. When he reaches home, the car from last night is gone. The street looks normal, ordinary, but on his doormat, an envelope. No name, no stamp, no return address. Inside, a single sheet of paper. No greeting, no signature, just 3 words written in shaky ink. Don't trust them. He reads it under the kitchen light, the paper trembling in his hand. He flips it over. Nothing. No watermark, no fingerprint, nothing that tells him who left it there. He looks out the window again. The street light flickers twice, the same way it did the night she left. That's when it hits him. The messages, the job, the car, the letter, none of it is random. Someone's been following both of them, and whoever they are, they're closer than he thought. He sits down, pressing the note flat on the table. The ink bleeds slightly where the rain caught it, like whoever wrote it was running out of time. He whispers to himself, half prayer, half realization. Don't trust who? Through the window, a shadow moves past the streetlight, slow, deliberate. The same car idling 2 nights ago. Same cracked taillight, same humming engine, only this time, it's parked closer. He used to think the past was behind him, buried beneath ambition, pain, and silence. But the past isn't gone. It's watching from the curb, engine running, waiting for him to open the door. It's strange how danger makes you crave comfort. The more uncertain the world feels, the more you long for something or someone familiar. He spends the next few hours pacing, phone in hand, waiting for another message that never comes. The letter sits like a wound he can't close. But at 11:47 p.m., the sound of footsteps echoes outside his door. 3 slow knocks. Then silence. At first, he doesn't move. The knocks come again, same rhythm, same pause. He checks the peephole. It's her. She looks different, not broken, but fragile. Eyes darting between the hallway shadows as if the walls themselves might be listening. He opens the door without thinking, and for a moment, neither of them says a word. Then she exhales, a sound halfway between relief and apology. He steps aside, and she walks in. She hasn't been here since the night she left. The air still remembers her. Faint perfume in the cushions, the ghost of laughter that used to live in this space. She looks around like she's seeing a memory replayed out of order. He wants to ask 100 questions. Where has she been? Why now? But her hands are shaking, and his anger dissolves faster than he expected. He just asks quietly, "Are you okay?" She says she's sorry, that she didn't mean for any of it to happen, that she thought leaving would keep him safe. Her voice trembles, not from guilt, but fear. Something behind her eyes keeps glancing at the window, that same car outside, headlights off. He listens. He doesn't interrupt. For the first time in weeks, she's here, and that's enough. He offers her food, leftover pasta, barely warm. They sit at the small kitchen table, 2 ghosts sharing dinner in a house that used to feel alive. For a while, they don't talk about what happened. They talk about old things, the trip they never took, the movie they never finished, the restaurant that always messed up their order, but somehow became their spot. It's the kind of conversation that pretends the world hasn't changed. For a few minutes, it works. She laughs again, not the bright laugh he remembers, but close enough to fool the heart. He tells her about the new job, how things are finally working out, how he thought maybe she'd be proud. She smiles faintly, but doesn't answer. When she finally speaks again, her voice lowers. "Eli," she says, "I didn't leave because I stopped loving you. I left because I was told to." She doesn't look at him. She stares at the table instead. Her fingers trace the grain of the wood like she's memorizing something for the last time. "They said if I stayed, you'd lose everything. Your work, your future, maybe worse." He asks who they are, but she shakes her head. "You don't understand. You can't." Then, softly, "They're watching you." For a moment, the air shifts, the room colder, heavier. The hum of the refrigerator becomes a pulse. She stands suddenly, says she shouldn't have come, but he catches her hand. "Then why did you?" She hesitates, tears in her eyes. "Because I missed you more than I feared them." He wants to believe her, and he does. for a little while. There are moments when hope feels dangerous, when it whispers that maybe love can still rewrite what fear tried to erase. And tonight, against reason, he believes it. He pulls her into an embrace, and for the first time in months, the noise inside his head quiets. They talk until the city fades into mourning. Words turn into silence, silence into closeness, a fragile kind of peace. And when sleep finally finds them, it feels like forgiveness. He wakes to sunlight cutting across the room. The bed beside him is empty. Her jacket is gone, the front door slightly open. He calls her name, no answer. Checks the kitchen, the hallway, the street outside. Nothing, only the sound of a car engine fading in the distance. On the table, a coffee mug still warm, and next to it, his phone, screen lit. A new message. It's from an unknown number again. Just 2 words. Too late. He scrolls through his phone's call log. Her number is gone, erased completely, as if it never existed. The voicemail from last night? Missing. The messages? Deleted. Only the timestamp remains, proof that someone, somewhere, wanted to clean her from his world. He opens his laptop, desperate for distraction. New work files have arrived overnight, contracts, NDAs, proposals, all carrying a faint watermark at the bottom right corner. He leans closer, eyes narrowing. The logo, stylized, abstract, matches the faint design that bled through the anonymous letter. Same curvature, same initials, the same mark printed on the envelope that said, "Don't trust them." The investor, the job, the company, every piece points to the same source, the same shadow now standing between him and her. For a moment, he stands frozen. Part of him still clings to last night, to her warmth, to the illusion that she came back to stay. But illusions have short half-lives, and as the day brightens, reality begins to devour what little piece he had left. He tells himself she left again, that maybe she had a reason, but somewhere deep down, he knows, this time she didn't leave by choice. He thought he'd finally found his way out of the dark, but the truth has a cruel sense of timing. It always shows up right after you've started to believe in light again. The early morning city noise fades beneath a low electronic drone. Computer keys clatter, then stop. Eli doesn't go to work that morning. The company sent another contract overnight. Thicker, darker. Too many clauses that sounded less like protection and more like silence. He prints it, lays every page across the floor, and sees what the paragraphs are hiding. Money, layers of shell accounts, transfers that loop through anonymous wallets before vanishing into private ledgers. He knows this pattern. He's built software that can trace it. Crypto laundering masked as data migration. Elegant, dangerous. The more he reads, the more the numbers stop being numbers. They become names. The initials in the code comments aren't random. They match hers. She helped build part of this system months before she left. He tells himself it's coincidence, but coincidences don't sign your old lover's initials into encrypted pipelines. He hacks deeper, into a directory labeled Archive. Inside, hidden between routine backups, he finds a file titled with her birthday. He opens it. The screen floods with transactions and messages, threats disguised as invoices, warnings wrapped in corporate language. One line stands out. Asset E17 has re-engaged. Contain via proxy. He reads it twice. E17? Eli. Him. The room darkens for a second. When power returns, the monitor glitches. A new window opens on its own. A chat box. One message appears. Stop looking. He slams the laptop shut, heart hammering. The reflection in the blank screen looks older, almost unfamiliar. For the first time, he wonders if curiosity can be lethal. Through the blinds, he sees a sedan parked across the street, windows tinted, engine idling. Same hum, same rhythm. It's been there since dawn. He tells himself it's just traffic, but it hasn't moved in hours. He grabs his coat, steps into the rain, and walks. Every few blocks he checks behind him, always the same car, 2 lengths back. It turns when he turns, slows when he stops. By the time he reaches the underpass, his breath fogs in panic. He ducks into a side alley, waits. The car rolls past, headlights sweeping across brick. In that brief flash, he sees a driver's silhouette. Short hair, black suit, phone pressed to their ear. Then, gone. He heads back home through side streets, every reflection in a window a potential watcher. When he finally locks the door behind him, the quiet feels surgical, clean, wrong. The apartment smells faintly of perfume. He moves carefully from room to room. Nothing touched. Until the bedroom. On the dresser, something small and silver catches the light. Her bracelet. The one she wore every day. The one she said she lost weeks before the breakup. It lies open, clasp broken, streaked with something dark that isn't rust. He lifts it gently. The stain smears against his thumb. Blood. His mind fractures between memory and suspicion. Did she drop it? Was she here? Or did someone bring it to him as a message? He sits on the floor, bracelet in his palm, replaying every moment. Her apology, her fear, the letter, the job. Was she using him? Feeding information to the people behind that company? Or had she been protecting him from the start? Each possibility hurts in a different way. Love can survive distance, but not doubt. Doubt turns every memory into evidence. The television glows. Channel unknown. For half a second, an image flickers, a live security feed of his own hallway. Then, darkness. He whispers to the empty room, "What did you want from me?" But the walls only answer with the soft hum of power lines and the ticking of a clock that's running fast. Somewhere out there, she's either the reason he's still alive or the reason he's being hunted. And before the night ends, he'll have to choose which truth to believe. Night again. Rain whips against glass. The bracelet lies on the table beside a map open to the industrial district. The line between fear and purpose blurs once you decide to chase answers. By dawn, he's traced the code's digital fingerprints to a single IP address, an abandoned textile warehouse on the east side of the river, the same location where the company's offshore servers were registered a year ago, the same district she used to disappear into for meetings. He loads the file onto a flash drive, slips it into his pocket, and leaves the apartment without locking the door. Some doors are better left open when you're not sure you'll come back. The city blurs past, neon bleeding through rain, reflections multiplying like memories. Each light pulse feels like a heartbeat counting down. The warehouse rises from the fog, 4 stories of broken windows and rusted beams. Inside, generators hum, cables snake across the floor, screens flicker with scrolling code. And there she is, cornered beneath a hanging bulb, 3 men around her, one holding her phone, another her arm. He recognizes the voice, the investor, the man behind his sudden success, the one who turned his work into a weapon, the one using her to get to him. She's holding a tablet, fingers trembling over lines of his own code, the security algorithm he designed months ago. They're forcing her to decrypt it, claiming it's hers. She's shaking her head, whispering, "It's his, not mine." When he steps from the shadows, everything stops. The men turn. For a heartbeat, no one breathes. A gun cocks. Rain crashes through a hole in the roof. The investor smiles, calm, practiced. "You were never supposed to see this," he says, "but you kept digging, always the curious one." Eli's voice cracks. "Let her go." The investor gestures to the code streaming across the monitors. "You built this. You hid a trace. We need it cleaned." He pauses, eyes narrowing. "She was meant to convince you to finish it quietly. You made that complicated." Tension hums, lightning flashes. In the split second that follows, chaos unfolds. A shove, a shout, the metallic clang of a gun hitting concrete. He lunges, tackles one of the men. The screen sparks as a monitor falls. She grabs the flash drive from his pocket, yells for him to run. Shots echo, ricocheting off steel. They sprint through corridors lit by broken neon signs, each burst of light freezing them in fragments. Her face determined, his bleeding hand gripping hers. The exit looms ahead, rain pouring through the shattered door. They make it outside, feet splashing through puddles, sirens in the distance. Then a single shot cracks the air. She jerks forward, silence swallowing sound. He catches her before she hits the ground, rain mixing with the red blooming across her coat. She's breathing, barely, eyes unfocused, searching his face. He presses his hand over the wound, shaking. "Stay with me. We can go. We can fix this." She smiles faintly, the same half-smile from their first date. "I told you. I left to protect you." Her voice falters. "They said if I stayed, they'd take your work and your life." He wants to believe there's still time, that help is coming, but the street around them is empty. The car that once watched him now burns silently by the curb. The investor's men gone, the warehouse behind them crackling with shorted wires. She touches his face, fingertips cold. "Your promotion wasn't luck," she whispered. "It was the trade, my silence for your success." He realizes then that every piece of progress, every dollar, every file was bought with her sacrifice. She was never the betrayer. She was the shield. He pulls her closer, promising things words can't hold. The flash drive slips from her hand into the puddle beside them, data and rain dissolving into one reflection. He carries her toward the streetlight, its flicker steadying like a pulse refusing to quit. She's lighter than he remembers. In her arms, she whispers one last thing, too soft to hear over the storm. And then she's still. He doesn't scream. He just stands there, letting the rain wash the blood from his hands, watching the light above her fade. Somewhere inside the warehouse, servers die one by one. their glow collapsing into darkness. The code, the money, the lies, all gone with her last breath. For the first time, he understands. Love didn't destroy him. It saved him, just not the way he wanted. Days pass, maybe weeks. Time stops keeping score once grief moves in. The city keeps breathing. Traffic, sirens, the rhythm of people who never knew what happened in the rain that night. The papers call it an industrial fire. No names, no faces, just another story swallowed by the skyline. He doesn't correct them. Some truths aren't meant for headlines. The company bought his project just like they said they would. A settlement wired quietly into his account. 7 figures that feel like an apology. He signs nothing, says nothing, lets the world believe he's finally made it. He moves back into the same penthouse apartment, the one with the flickering light and the view of the street below. The new furniture doesn't hide the ghosts. Wealth can buy silence, but not peace. Some nights he sits at the same window, watching rain fall through the glow of street lamps. The car that once waited there, or maybe it just learned to hide better. He still codes, not for profit anymore, but for memory, lines of logic that no one will ever see. Somewhere inside the thousands of functions, hidden deep, he writes her name in lowercase letters. It's the only part of the program he never runs. People call him lucky. They see the headlines, the awards, the photographs of success. They don't see the empty space at the table, or the way his hand still reaches across the bed at night out of habit. Tonight, the room feels heavier than usual. The lights hum. He pours a drink he doesn't finish. And then it happens again. The phone vibrates once. The same sound as before. The same name lighting up the screen. Her name. For a long moment, he just stares. Fingers hover above the display. The message preview shows a single line. You're safe now. He exhales, half a laugh, half a sob. Checks the timestamp, sent just seconds ago. Same number, same impossibility. He looks toward the window. The city outside is quiet. Then, in the corner of his eye, movement, headlights washing across the room. He doesn't move closer, doesn't open the blinds, just watches the faint reflection of taillights flicker across the glass. The car that stays there for a minute, maybe more. Then it pulls away, disappearing into the dark. The streetlight flickers twice and steadies. The world goes still again. Maybe love doesn't die. Maybe it just changes who it saves. If this story kept you watching, tap the like button so it can reach someone else who'll enjoy it too. And tell me in the comments, did she really save Eli? Or is there more to the story? I'd love to read what you think. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for spending your time here.